Now let's check in on the big three in the state of Florida. Florida, Florida State, and Miami. We'll do this periodically. It's fun to kind of take the temperature of recruiting in the Sunshine State. It gets hot down there. Right now, as we see it, Florida is topping the charts at number 3 overall. They have 4 commitments. Florida State sitting there at number 6 with 9 commitments. And Miami at number 85 with just 1 commitment. These are the On3 industry rankings. So let's talk about Florida in their number 3 class, right? They got their quarterback. They got their running back. They needed a pair of elite linebackers. Check, got those. They got a couple needs still in the trenches. So 5-star DJ Lagway committed to UF in early December. That's crucial. Everybody wants their quarterback. He kind of leads the way. He's been a vocal recruiter for UF on the trail. DJ Lagway shows up at camps sporting his UF orange and blue. He's, like I said, a vocal recruiter, getting guys to Gainesville and maybe even getting some guys to commit. They also got their running back, Chauncey Bowens. He's an On3 outlier at number 104 overall. Florida has a stable of solid backs, and Bowens will likely be another. I do expect for UF to take one more back in this class, but right now sitting pretty with Chauncey Bowens. They needed linebackers, so what does UF do? They go out and get the number 5 and number 6 ranked linebackers respectively, in Miles Graham out of Georgia and a Darius Hayes out of Florida. 2 big additions at positions of need. Where else do they need to get better? Florida right now needs to focus on the edge in the middle of that defense. At edge, I think I like Elijah Rushing out of Arizona, 5-star Colin Simmons out of Texas, and 4-star Jamonte Waller out of Mississippi. And then they got some big-time prospects at tackle on the offensive side as well in Jonathan Daniels, who was on campus about 2 weeks ago now. He's the number 1 tackle in America, according to On3. And 4-star Jordan Seaton out of Washington, D.C. He goes 6'5", 295 pounds, and he's expected to be in Gainesville today. So shout out to Florida right now, sitting pretty, number 3 overall, very good class. Got some room to grow. We'll continue to update you guys on that, but Florida off to a great start. Florida State also off to a great start. Looking at some of their recruiting notes right here, they got their quarterback, they got their running back, and they're in good shape for top in-state talent. Needs remain, though, in the trenches. So at quarterback, Luke Kromenhawk, he heads up the class out of Savannah, Georgia, along with top 100 running back Cam Davis out of Albany, 2 studs right there in South Georgia. Florida State is also trending with several in-state top targets. And if you're in the big 3, how do you know if you're recruiting well? Well, you're recruiting well within the confines of the state of Florida. And look at what Florida State's doing right here with Jonathan Daniels out of Pensacola, Charles Lester from Sarasota, Jason Zandamella from Clearwater, Chance Robinson, Fort Lauderdale, and Brandon Jacob, Orlando. All guys that are trending right now to the Seminoles. Now, they got to find elite edge talent. That's something that Florida State has struggled with really since the departure of Brian Burns. They brought in some, but not enough at the edge position. That's why you see him hit the portal hard. So this year, out of the state of Florida, you have edge Dylan Stevenson from Columbus High School right there. That's a battle that Florida State can win. They're heads up against Miami for that one. They also have a lot of interest in LJ McCray out of Daytona Beach, a big man at 6'5", 255 pounds. And Jonathan Daniels is the name to know this year, though. He's the target for Alex Atkins. FSU's been runner-up on a few of these big offensive line recruitments. Alex Atkins, Florida offensive line coach and OC, has had FSU in the recruitments of Amarius Mims, guys like Elijah Pritchett, only to get their hearts broken in the end by Alabama and Georgia. Now Jonathan Daniels is next up, and right now Florida State is trending on the RPM. We'll see how that plays out. Keep you guys updated. Let's move on to Miami. Sitting there at number 85. Just relax. It's still early. Miami needs an elite arm and keep the best skill players at home. Okay, why do I tell Miami fans not to worry? There's probably a lot of them right now watching this video that are worried, but I'm not. The reason why, because top talent is marching through Coral Gables every single weekend. Last weekend, Dylan Stewart was on campus. Coming up on March 24th, UM is going to host a big visit weekend, highlighted by a QB Air Nolan, Kylan Fox, and Jordan Seaton. All big-time recruitments, all high on Miami's board, and I'm not worried that they sit at number 85 right now with just one commitment, a punter. It's going to happen. I know what happened last year. Miami finished just outside the top 5. There was excitement throughout. It's coming, Miami fans. Don't you worry. And I think the best way to get there to where you want to be is to land that next elite prospect at QB. Last year, Miami signed Emory Williams, but they missed on Jaden Rashada. Rashada was kind of the crown jewel to that QB class. Of course, he ends up flipping to UF and then ends up signing with Arizona State. And right now, Air Nolan seems to be the target. He's out of Georgia, and the focus is on him. All the eggs are in that basket, but there's some competition there. Air Nolan was at Alabama in January. He just got back from Clemson, and they offered. He's going to go check out Arkansas and Ohio State at the end of this month. So getting him back on campus will be vital, and you really want to get that quarterback in place. It kind of sets the tone for the class. It helps recruit the other skill positions, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And Air Nolan, if that's the guy that they land, very personable quarterback. Go check out his interview last week on the Inside Scoop. You don't want to miss that. All right. But right now, they're QB-less. So I think that's the first step in setting up this class, and then you go from there. Where do you go from there? Keeping the skill talent at home. The Miami-Dade area is recruited by every team in the country because they have the best skill talent, and you got to keep them home to succeed if you're the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes. Best way to do that is improve on the field, because those players in the Miami-Dade area, they want to play for winners. And some of the guys that Miami's battling for right now, I like a lot. JoJo Trader, big-time wide receiver, local wide receiver. Biggest competition right now comes from FSU, Georgia, and Ohio State. But in the end, I think Trader chooses an in-state program. So that boils down really to an FSU-UF battle. I'm sorry, FSU and Miami battle. And I think it's one that the Miami Hurricanes could win. Big-time edge prospect, Dylan Stevenson. It'd be important to keep him at home because it's another Big 3 battle. FSU's a contender, UF's a contender, and it's Mario Cristobal's high school. That's where he went to high school, his alma mater. So can they also flip wide receiver Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State? Last year, we heard a lot about the talk about maybe flipping Brandon Inniss. In the end, Mario Cristobal is going to flip Brandon Inniss from his commitment to Ohio State. It didn't happen. I think this year, if you're going to look for a flip from a Jeremiah Smith or a safety, Jalen Hayward, who's committed to Georgia, he's also a top 50 player. The best way to recruit these guys and get them to Miami is to win. And that's the state of the Big 3 right now. Florida at number 3, Florida State at number 6, Miami at number 85. We're going to continue to check in on the Big 3 as the cycle continues. I guarantee the next time we check in, Miami's not sitting at 85. You tell me where you think the Big 3 finishes. In the comment section here, where does UF, Miami, and Florida State ultimately end up finishing in the team rankings? Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me, and remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.